This current era of Blue Jays baseball has been defined by wasted star potential and playoff failures. They've made the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 seasons and accumulated a winning percentage of .553 in that time span, yet they never once managed to make it to the American League Division Series in any of those 3 playoff appearances. Not only that, but they haven't even won a single playoff game since October 2016, now over 7 years ago. Despite all the continued hype surrounding the franchise, the Blue Jays keep underachieving year in and year out, to the point that it's almost predictable. So why does it keep happening, and what's in store for 2024 after a pretty dismal offseason? The team has been characterized by their explosive offenses in years past during the regular season. Hitters like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, and George Springer are guys at the top of the lineup consistently, and they've posted some pretty impressive numbers over the last few years. However, for the most part, the team hasn't performed in the postseason, specifically at the plate. Those guys I mentioned earlier are the main culprits of the offensive struggle, putting up largely dreadful numbers in the playoff series that they have played in. So now that it's apparent that the current offense is not reliable in the postseason, how has the Blue Jays front office addressed these issues this offseason? They signed a couple of former Mets players in Eduardo Escobar and Daniel Vogelbach. Escobar has a career 98 OPS plus in 13 seasons of Major League Baseball. He's got some power, collecting 6 seasons of over 20 home runs, including 35 with the Diamondbacks in the infamous power surge season of 2019. But his below-average career .305 on-base percentage leaves some to be desired. He figures to play all around the infield this year with instabilities at both second and third base. Daniel Vogelbach is for sure a better hitter than Escobar, hitting for less power but drawing more walks. The power numbers aren't the worst, but never having a season where he slugged over .440 doesn't bode well for an offense that routinely goes silent in the playoffs. He might not be able to play defense, but should be able to fill in nicely as a designated hitter. If he could be anything like the career 108 OPS plus he has been, then this could be a solid move for the Blue Jays. After a great career in Los Angeles, Justin Turner took a 1-year deal with the Red Sox last year. He played above expectations, hitting 23 home runs and having a 114 OPS plus. The Blue Jays managed to sign him to another 1-year contract, this time with a value of $13 million. After Matt Chapman left for the Giants, there was a hole to be filled, and Justin Turner was the one for it. He might not be the player Matt Chapman is on defense, but he played some first base in 2023 and was pretty good. In 289 innings for the Red Sox, he compiled 3 defensive runs saved. He figures to be either a DH or first baseman this season. Let's talk about IKF now, Isiah Kiner-Falefa. Yet another infielder added to the pile, even though the team could use some more depth in the outfield. After a mostly miserable Yankees tenure, in which he posted just 1.7 Fangraphs WAR in 257 games, he signed a deal with the Blue Jays. It's for 2 years and $15 million, which might be a little much for what his role is likely to be. He probably won't be an everyday player due to the logjam in the infield, but he can provide some lockdown defense at third base, and maybe even play some outfield for them. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a player who's had an interesting career so far. His 2021 season was absolutely incredible, but he's never come close to replicating it in those other 4 seasons. But there's some evidence to suggest that he can return to that form this season. Last year, he was hitting the ball harder than ever, but not quite getting the results for it. His expected slugging percentage was .494 last year, 50 points higher than its actual value of .444. He should be due for a better year than he had in 2023. Bo Bichette is another player who had a magical 2021 season, but hasn't managed to replicate it since. He also had some pretty bad luck on batted ball last season, posting a .496 expected slugging percentage to the real value of .475. He's due for another season like the one he had in 2021 this year. The Blue Jays definitely did not have the greatest offseason, and for a team that plays in the American League East, that's not a good thing. There's a real possibility that all 5 teams finish over 500 this season. There's no doubt that the Blue Jays will be a fun team to watch again, but the results are still in question. Did they really do enough to compete in an extremely competitive division? My gut feeling is that they really didn't.